Hello, fellow followers. Today it is me, Levon. It is me, myself, and my corner. Today we are going to be testing different types of honey. Today we're going to be testing different types of honey to see which one is original, which one is fake, and which one is artificial. These are the honeys we are going to be testing today. First honey. This one is the second honey, and this one is homemade fresh honey, which is provided by our cousin Jovan Kerry. As you can see right here, the two bottles are the same bare bottled honeys. They have the same amount of honey inside. The only difference between them is the color. One of them is light and one of them is dark. The difference between the colors of the honey is that the lighter colored honey usually has a mild flavor, while the darker honey has usually a stronger flavor. Besides the taste, the color of the honey can also be determined by the amount of antioxidants inside. Let's get started. So today we're going to be using water for our experiment. We're going to be using a spoon. We're going to be using our honey, and also the main ingredients we're going to be using is iodine, regular iodine, which you can find at a local store nearby. The iodine is going to help us determine whether the honey is authentic or not. What we're going to do now is we're going to take very cold water. We're going to pour them into glasses, 3 different types of glasses. If you've watched my previous videos on YouTube, you would see that I use this water for the water test. Okay, let's go ahead and pour the honey inside the cups. We're going to pour it as much so that it can just sit on the bottom of the glass, no more than that. Let's go ahead and pour our second honey into the glass. Now I'm going to ask my operator to view the glass a little more closer. After you pour in the honey, what we're going to do is we're going to take our iodine and then we're going to put a few drops into the glass. After you pour in the iodine, what you're going to do is you're going to take your spoon and you're going to mix it very well for a few seconds. Mix, 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 and then we go to the next one. You also mix, mix, mix until everything is nice and diluted. After letting the water set for a few minutes, as we can see, the very first cup right here that we have, it has a little bit of blueness on the bottom. If we put the white paper on the bottom, if you look a little closer, you can see there's a very tiny faint hint of blue. In this case, if your honey turns a darker blue or even black color, that means it is made out of unnecessary minerals that you do not want going into your body, and discard that honey as soon as you can. Looking at the second cup, we can see that this second cup right here, it has a little darker color, which means the honey is a little bit more authentic. And now looking at both honeys, looking at the colors and the yellowness of both honey inside the waters, we can see that the more expensive honey, which is on the right, which is the darker one, this one right here is a little bit more expensive compared to the very first one. And we can see that the price difference has a big difference in it too. The more expensive the honey, the better. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be testing the third honey that my cousin gave to me, and we can see the crystallization on the side, which means it's really good honey. So let's go ahead and test it. Let's go ahead and test the third honey. So we're going to take a tablespoon of honey and we're going to place it right into the cup. Now as you can see, the honey, the third one, which is authentic, it is diluting very hard. It is not diluting very fast, which means it is not containing all sugar in it. You see how it's still on the bottom of the cup? You have to mix it very, very, very well for it to get diluted. This is our first sign that the honey is very authentic because it is not diluting very fast. If we look at the two honeys right here, the first one and the last one, these two honeys turned out very light inside the water, as opposed to this one, which came out a little darker in the cup. In this second cup right here, I actually put a little bit too much iodine, but as opposed to the first one, I put a lot more iodine compared to the second one, but it still turned very light. And then this one is also very light right here, the third one. So the results are basically that this one right here, the third one, is pure authentic honey. This one is also very good, but this one also, it's okay, but it does have a little bit of minerals that is not necessary inside of it. Doing a lot of research online, I did find out that most of the honeys inside the supermarkets are from China, which apparently have a lot of heavy metals in them. And we all do know that iodine breaks down even gold. Most gold that is found underground is tested with iodine. So you want to be careful, and you do want to maybe test your honey for chemicals and stuff. So go ahead and use the iodine test at your house to see if your honey is authentic or not. Like I mentioned before in the video, if your water turns blue, dark blue, or even black, please do not use that honey and throw away as soon as possible, because it does contain heavy metals and stuff that you do not want to put inside your body. And if you do decide to keep that honey at your house and you do try to eat it, it is going to have very bad health issues on you. So don't be afraid of the money, just throw away, because nothing is more important than your health. If you do have other further questions about the heavy metals or chemicals and minerals that you do want to speak to me about, you can go ahead and feel free to message me or write a comment below, and I will definitely answer your questions with much love. We're going to be trying a new test right now too as well. It's going to be showing the honey's memory. So what we're going to do is we're going to be taking a cold water, and then it's going to be showing us the 6 figures of the honeycomb. Making sure to take very, very, very cold water. We're going to be placing it inside the plates on top of the honey, because real honey should not be dissolving. So what we're going to do is we're going to be taking the honey right now. We're going to be placing it into individual bowls, like so. And now we're going to be taking the very, very, very cold water. We're going to be placing it over to cover the top, and we're going to slightly mix it. You want to spin your plate a few minutes, around like a minute or a minute and a half, until you see the honeycomb start to form. As you can see, the honeycombs are popping up a little bit, but they are not very well formed, because this is not very clean honey. Now we're going to be pouring the very, very cold water on top of the second honey. Make sure you cover the honey very well with the water, a few tablespoons, and then you just keep on mixing. Mix, mix, mix until you see the honeycomb. If you can see very closely, do you see already the honeycombs? Do you see how fast they formed? And it is more brighter than the very first one. As opposed to the first one, it is very faint, the honeycombs. Now we're going to go ahead and pour the water over the third bowl. As we pour in the water, you can automatically see it without even spinning it. You can already see the honeycombs pop up. Due to the clarity of the honey, right away, whenever I poured the water over the honey, it started to pop up the honeycombs. That's because of the clarity of the honey. Let's go ahead and take a look closer as to see how clean and six-sided the honeycombs look, as opposed to the second and to the first. When we're comparing the third one to the second and first one, we can see that the honeycombs lasted a little longer than the second and the first honey. They disappeared in the first and second honey as opposed to the third one, which lasted a little longer. Also, another little tip from me to you is when you're purchasing honey, try to buy honey that is at least in a 1 liter jar, because if it's less or more than a liter of honey inside the jar, it's mostly containing minerals and other stuff that's not supposed to be in there, and it's mostly not going to be real honey. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again so much for watching. I appreciate it. And the last thing we want to do is we want to mix it and then we want to drink it because it is very healthy. So go ahead and drink up all that water with the honey inside. It's also good for people to drink honey water every morning in the morning time. It's because it works very good on your brain and helps you with memory. So go ahead and drink a glass of water with honey in it every morning. Thank you again so much for watching Levon's Corner. I hope to see you all again back soon.